Okay, you may well find that the people at Parish Online can help because they've done it many times before.
Yeah.
But it just may be a short. Are you familiar with Chris Muse?
I did email him yesterday, and he emailed back very quickly. So fair play to him.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you're on the way then.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get started here. So the first slide you're very familiar with. Second slide, what we're going to do today is discuss what styling is, then the two types, single and class-based, what they are. Then you go ahead and do it, and then guess what? You'll be doing it. So hopefully that's helpful. So the art of using changes to indicate differences to viewers between features on the same layer, basically. So you can highlight the differences between features in the same layer or between layers. But the idea is to make things clearer and more helpful. And there's a good video in the knowledge base about it. Okay, so if you take a single style, it means that all features in the map layer look the same. So you may take a single style such as label and just put labels on everything. And that's a single style. But a class-based style means that depending upon the class of the feature, it will look different. So taking the usual example of a planning application, if it's just been issued by the local planning authority, it would be awaiting a decision, which is A class. So you might make it one color. Then if it's being considered by the local parish council, you may make it another color. If it's been rejected, you'll make it red. If it's been accepted, you'll make it green. And then you can just take a look at a layer of planning applications and tell instantly which ones are in which state. And that's the whole point. So I'll give you some examples down here. You can change the colors of grip bins depending on how empty they are. I've just mentioned the planning applications, and we'll go through what size, color, and halo changes mean to show the difference between features. So the only place you can do this styling is in the parish layers, your own layers, which you'd expect, really. Unsurprisingly, point geometry, which is an individual point, cannot support hatching or patterns because there's no way to put them, but you can put in icons, which is very, very helpful. Line geometry obviously offers arrows, but you can't get strokes, and polygons don't have arrows. So you get into the style facility by right-clicking anywhere in a layer, which you've seen many times. It brings up the mini menu, and you get, lo and behold, your style. So I've gone into my famous test polygon. I've right-clicked in this layer here, and we're going to choose style. And then we mentioned this screen to you very briefly the other day. So 4 columns, if you will. This screen's divided into style options on the left all the way through to preview on the right. The contents of the 3rd column will vary depending on what decisions we make in the first 2. So let's start with the left-hand side, the style options. We've talked about single or class-based. This is just a drop-down mini menu where you either have a choice of single or class-based. Very simple. You can turn the label on individually from, regardless of whether you've got single or class-based. And the others we'll discuss when we get down to them. So we're going to do labels right now. And it says, what do you want the label to be, basically? So you can bring up any of the items in your column, or any of the columns in your layer, I'm sorry, to choose which it'll be the label. Usually it's the name, but not always. So we're going to click on name, which we've done. And now all the features in the second column up here have become live. So you can adjust the size and shape of the text that's going to show up here in the preview. You'll notice the word name has now appeared because we've selected the name column. In your actual feature, of course, it'll translate that name into whatever is in the data record. But for right now, it's just showing you which field it'll be. And then we've chosen a normal size 12. We're taking the text color of black. The default font is Arial Bold. And then the halo is this little sort of white bit around the name at the moment. So you've got a white halo color and a size of 2. So it's almost indistinguishable, but not quite there. The system will automatically bring the labels up or not bring them up, depending upon what scale you're in, based upon what the room on the screen is. But you can override that and force it to say, stop showing labels at this size and start showing labels at this size, which can be helpful. And we'll go through that, how to do it. And then again, forcing labels and displacing labels. If the system decides there isn't room to put a label, but you want one anyway, you can force it. And if you want to displace the label, you can sort of move it down to one side or the other, depending on the actual situation that you've got on the screen. All right, moving on. I've changed here just so you can see the effect over in the preview, the things in this column here. So we've put the size of the label way up. So the word name is now colossal. We've upped the size of the halo and we changed the color again, just so that you can see. And now we're using the third column. We said we want the background color to be green. We want the lines to be vertical. We want them to be colored, and the distance between them is going to be 3. So that's what you get. I'm sorry, that's the outside line is black and it's a size of 3. So the vertical lines, you can put in the size and the width if you want to, but here we've just taken the default. Okay, and during the exercise we do today, I'm going to ask you to make big, bright changes, not because it's going to be aesthetically charming, but because you can see the impact of what the changes are that you've made, that's all. Okay, moving on. So you can see that our test pavilion, which started off with a big red label or without any label at all, has now got the words come up. It's got the cloud, sorry, the halo and the vertical green and purple lines. So that's the impact of basically the early stages of styling. So now we're going to take a look at class-based, which gets a little bit more complicated, but fun. So on the drop-down menu up here, we select class-based, and then we go into the class column and say, what do you want the colors to be determined by? And again, it brings up all the available columns here, and we're going to make the changes based on name. So now you've changed, you'll see that this third column here has altered. You've got, well, actually, this is the same line as you saw before, but it is now much more live. So it looks as if the only feature that we have in my test layer is the one pavilion. But if you had, say, 10 features, and you get 10 different items down here, and this is where you change the colors of each item if you wish to. What we're going to do is change the color of the item based on the status. So the class column is going to be changed to status, and you'll see what the impact will be here. So we've changed it to status. We've now then got the 3 statuses that we've got in our record here. Each one is a different color, and you can change all these as you wish, and you can change the patterns and the external lines if you wish. So when you make changes on this field, to make sure that the change affects every record in that particular layer, you need to click on this little icon up here. So it's not immediately obvious, but that is a great habit to get into. Make sure they get copied through. Is there anything more on this slide? So we've been looking at the polygon, and now just going to show you what icons are all about, which are for point geometry. So I've chosen now a new layer, my point layer. We're going to choose a style again. And we're going to go to the third column and see at the moment it's going to be it defaults to a symbol, and the symbol is a circle, and we want to change that. So if you click on the word symbol, it brings up a mini icon, a mini menu, and you can choose an icon. And then when you choose the icon here, the default is number black red, but you can change it, and clicking on it brings up a list of all the available icons. Now there's hundreds of them, so it may take a while for this list to show up. No, excuse me. The list is scrollable, Robert, so you can go all the way down here, going through hundreds of these. If you know what the icon is called, you can type it into the box here and it'll pop up as a filter much more quickly. But you need to get used to the idea of what they've called them, because they're not blindingly obvious sometimes. So we need to select an icon for our particular exercise. So I've selected helicopter. And so you can see you could never have searched for DFT low flying helicopter, but you needed to. I've made it large, just again, for making it to stand out. And here's what it looks like in the preview. And then if we save, we can go and see what it did to the icon. So here you go. We've got a nice big helicopter icon for whatever I had down in the bottom corner. That was the point at which our path started, or my path started. So what we've done now is I've added a couple more features to the point layer. I've turned on the label column, and I'm using the class-based. I'm using status as the class-based. So these will determine what colors, or rather which icons we're going to use. I'm sorry, we're in the point layer, so it's going to be icons. And we're going to use helicopters for the not yet started, camping for under construction, and finished for a picture of a bridge. And this is the one that's highlighted, so that shows you the bridge here in the preview. And status is the column that we've chosen to be used. So we can have a look and see what the impact of that is. So I've now added the two new features, and I made each one an icon. This one is under construction, this one is finished, and this one is not yet started. All daft, but you can see the point. The icon is selected according to the status of that particular feature. So now we're just explaining some of the choices available to you. So if you're in a single class and you want to change the symbol from the default circle, you can go the choice of square, triangle, diamond, or cross. If you change to icons, you then get hundreds. Many of the icons are just the same thing, but in a different color. So there may not be hundreds when it comes down to counting how many different icons there are, but if you've got 5 that are all in different colors, that counts as 5 icons. So as you'd expect, I think that this the status changes automatically, that if you upgrade a plan from under construction to completed, then the color of the icon, or the change of it, that's right, the shape or the color of the icon will change accordingly. Oops, didn't mean to do that. And then we mentioned jumping to using the search to speed up. So really now it's your turn to go into interactive mode, Robert, and start playing around.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is ask you to choose any geometry you like. It doesn't matter which one. So you've got 3 layers, haven't you? You've got polygon, point, and line. If you haven't killed all the tests. So let's go ahead and do something. So what I've got here is suggestions. As I've already mentioned, use wild extremes just so it becomes obvious what you're doing. Go into a single style and just add a label. Make the label huge, make it colorful, make it a weird font, select a bright halo, make the halo at least 20 in size, and basically let's see what you can come up with. So it doesn't matter which layer you choose, whether it's point, line, or polygon. And for the moment, we're just playing with labels. And when you've made your changes, clicking on the save button will then actually show you what it looks like on the Mac itself.
Right, I've done that.
You're very happy with the result?
Yes, although I can't see the label on it, which is odd.
Ah.
Style.
How are you for Zoom? Are you zoomed in or out beyond the level of the labels?
Oh, that's what it'll probably be. Yeah.
So try zooming in.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Okay. So that's the usual issue.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll move on to my next slide, see what I suggest next.
Cool.
So this next test is suggesting you move from a style-based option to class-based. Select one of the columns as a class column, decide whether you want labels or not, and then make big changes in the third column, all the classes.
So to do this one, you really need to pick something that's got multiple
Features, yes, you do.
features, don't you?
Yeah, you can add a quick couple of features to your. Are you in what Polygon at the moment?
Yeah, that's the only one I've got left.
Right. Well, you can always just put in a couple of more items. I mean, you did a cricket pavilion the first time, but you can just throw in a couple of quick squares and give them each a different status. Not going the way you wanted it to?
No, I'm getting a thing where I'm trying to put a name in. It's just giving me a feature that says null.
Right. That means that in the data that you entered for the feature,
Yeah.
there is no entry in the particular field you've used. Did you use status as the field for the label, or for
it's just whilst trying to generate another feature.
Oh, right. It says null.
Yeah.
I don't think you and I are on the same page. I'm going to stop sharing, Robert. If you'd like to share your screen,
yeah,
see where you are.
So I'm just trying to create a new feature so that there's more things in the table.
Right. Okay, you won't be able to save it until you. Oh, I see what you're saying. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it just says no. It doesn't let me put a name in there.
Wow. I would kill it and start again.
Yeah. I'm going to click refresh as well.
Okay, well, you can do that. Yes, I think you. Okay, we've done that now. Right. Wait a second, please. I'm sorry. Just got a car call to make.
Mhm.
Right. Good morning, this is Graham. Thank you very much. Let me just put me on hold so I don't interfere with the people. I've got a class here. Hang on a second. No, well, you won't know, but it would help if because I'm not on the screen. Doesn't matter. So we've got a Fiat 500 that failed its MOT this morning because it was missing the bracket that secures the rear near side handbrake cable. And we need to know if you've got that fitting in available, please. That's very smart of you. Good. Yes. Right. And you do have one in stock? Oh, right. So how long would it be before you could get one? $29, maybe. Okay, and when you say Monday, do you know what time of the day that usually gets to you? Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, thank you so much. Could we go ahead and order it? And do you need a card and so forth? Okay, perfect.
If he's waiting for someone, I'll go straight up and ask his the tipping toilets.
Stones, S-T-O-N-E-S. First name Graham. Yes, please. Okay. That's perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks for calling, Paul. Bye-bye. Thanks, Robert. Sorry.
No problem.
Plus, that's interesting. What's plus? Oh, it'll be the plus sign, right? I'm with you. Yep. Okay. You're having fun here.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. My God, that's spectacular. Yeah.
What that looks like.
Oh, yes. Well, that's very impressive. So each one is different. Yep. Okay. That's very clear, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good. Well, you certainly seem to have grasped the principles of that. No problems. Astonishingly, that's the end of the styling lecture, I think. Let me just make sure I'm not doing you down. Now, what I've recommended in the presentation is that the video on styling in the knowledge base is actually a particularly good one.
Okay.
So if you have a spare 10 minutes, oh, actually, I think maybe a bit longer, but it's well worth watching. If you go into the knowledge base, this is the cogwheel at the top right, help and support, and then type styling, it'll come up with a video for you called Styling a Map Layer, and well worth watching. But do you have any questions on what we've done so far?
No, that's seems when you remember all the different bits, it's quite straightforward and also quite effective, isn't it?
You are so correct. The whole problem is people who only come to it once a month or once every 2 months, and they're completely lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really fabulous if you're able to get to it on a regular basis. It becomes much more of an issue if you can't. So That's why when we did the hints and the tips lecture, which I think you had the other day, I was saying, try to use this for everything that you're doing, particularly as a parish clerk, not in your role particularly. But the more you use it, the simpler and faster it becomes.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that.
Yeah, well, it's worth persevering with. There's quite a steep learning curve to get going, but once you've got going, it all becomes very straightforward.
Perfect.
There are lots of scope for you to ask other questions if you wish to, or if you're happy to move on to other things, I will say cheerio.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Thank you very much for the things this week, Graham.
Well, it's been a pleasure working with you, Robert. You're a very fast learner compared to some of the people I put up with. So well done. No, it's very nice. Khan is off to a good start.
Yeah, hopefully.
Good luck. I look forward to hearing from you. Do, if you get a chance, drop into the banter sessions. There's one this afternoon, actually, at Friday at 3 o'clock. It's just fun just to come and see what happens.
Yeah.
Lovely to talk to you.
Brilliant.
See you again in the future.
Yeah. Cheers, Graham. Have a good one.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra.